Hi, everybody. This is Kelly Bailey, and I am here with Matt, who is the facilitator with Prosper RX through the Waypoint RX program. Matt, how are you doing today?
I am doing well, Kelly. Thank you very much for asking.
Yeah, you bet. So today we're just going to kind of talk about the Prosper RX program. And I guess for those who are listening who are not super familiar with it, can you tell us what is the Prosper RX?
Sure. Prosper RX is a program that was designed to allow pharmacy owners to collaborate on a digital platform. So it's a series of meetings and webinars that allow pharmacies to get together, share their ideas, learn from each other, and work on just making their businesses better overall.
Okay, really cool. So kind of thinking about somebody who might be interested in doing something like this, who would you say is the ideal candidate for the Prosper RX program?
So the main thing, like I said, is it's somebody who wants to share and also wants to learn. Share things like what's keeping them up at night, what's really bothering them, where are they losing money in their pharmacy, and also share things that are working well. Here's a marketing program that we put together, or here's something we've done to increase our profitability, those types of things. What makes the group successful very much is the interactiveness. I can bring ideas that I've seen in the marketplace, but I'm not a pharmacy owner. I just know a lot of them. So I've heard some stuff, but that doesn't carry as much weight as other owners actually sitting down and saying, I've done this and it works. Here's the difference it made on my bottom line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So how did the Prosper RX program get started?
Well, our company serves as a facilitator for a group of pharmacy owners that own multiple pharmacies, and that's called Pharmacy Solutions Alliance. We've been doing that for several years now. These guys and ladies meet twice a year, usually at a destination city for 2 or 3 days, and they spend a lot of time working on how to make each other's businesses more profitable. They spend a lot of time talking on programs that work, programs that don't work. It's a good sounding board for each other if they're thinking about doing something because somebody else might have already tried it and had some success or not had much success. The feedback we've gotten from that has always been extremely positive.
Mm-hmm.
So as Ben and I were talking about it, we said, well, how can we take that and share it with people, share that experience with people that can't necessarily take 3 days or just don't want to take 3 days to go to these type meetings, or maybe they don't own multiple pharmacies so they don't qualify for that program.
Mm-hmm.
And we came up with Prosper RX, which essentially does the same thing in a digital format. So it's all online or phone call driven, which means you can do it from your pharmacy. You can do it from your office while you're sitting around. We've even had some people hop on while they're checking prescriptions. Obviously, we'd like to have your focus as much as we can, but that's who it's designed for, people that are busy, that don't want to take or can't take the time away.
Mm-hmm.
So we rolled that out in a way to make it simpler for people to do in terms of accessibility.
So I guess thinking about the people who are in these groups, I know you mentioned most of them are pharmacy owners. Is pharmacy ownership a requirement to join? Can the pharmacy owner maybe send a designator, like a business manager or a marketing manager, or like a pharmacist in charge in their stead? Is that something that they can do?
That's a great question. And it is primarily designed for pharmacy owners, but we use that word at Waypoint a lot. It's going to be along the lines of people who have business decision-making ability for the pharmacy.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you an example. We have a pharmacy owner who I invited whose daughter works alongside with her on the business decisions, and I said, if you can't make it, your daughter would be a great person to hop on this. Still has the influence, still knows the ins and outs of the programs that they're doing, just doesn't own any shares.
Mm-hmm.
So that person is still a great prospective Prosper RX member. A staff pharmacist, one that does a lot of stuff on the clinical side, but maybe not as much on the business side, is probably not going to get as much out of this because very little of the conversation is going to be clinical. It's mostly going to focus on the business aspects of pharmacy.
Gotcha. Okay. So what would you say is the ultimate goal of the Prosper RX program?
The goal of Prosper, like many of our programs at Waypoint RX, is to help the survival of independent pharmacies. It's to allow them to not only survive, but really to thrive, to use kind of a cliche. But we've seen what happens to towns when the pharmacy packs up and leaves. In South Carolina, where I live, where our office is, where our business is headquartered, a lot of small towns were really hurt when textile industries went overseas or went to Mexico. And there are towns where there's literally nothing downtown except a pharmacy and maybe a Dollar General or something like that. And those are the only things that are keeping that town going. When those guys get in trouble and shut down, it's bad for the town. It's bad for everybody. So this, along with a lot of our other programs, is just how can we try to keep those guys open, make it to where business is ticking up as opposed to ticking down. And everybody listening to this is well aware of what's going on in the pharmacy world anyway. So anything that pharmacy owners can learn from each other to add to their profitability, or terminology we use is to add pockets of profit, places where there's money to be made, is great for the overall industry.
Yeah, definitely. So kind of going back to what you were saying just a little bit ago. So you mentioned, obviously a lot of pharmacy owners are struggling now with the, reimbursements and fees and whatnot. Is Prosper RX an affordable program for most pharmacies?
It is. And that's one of the things that makes it different from Pharmacy Solutions Alliance, the PSA meeting that I referenced earlier. That has a cost, but it also has travel, which adds cost to it. So this does not have any travel costs, which make it more affordable for a pharmacy owner who maybe is watching everything on the bottom line. So the program costs $1,000 a year, and we can split that up into monthly payments if that's simpler for the pharmacy owner. And that will give them access to the meetings, as well as to some other technology that we have in terms of group chats, websites, and things like that.
Okay, cool. That's awesome. So what are some examples of things that members have gained through the Prosper RX program?
Well, one big example that jumps out of my head is we had a speaker talking about combo shops at our first Prosper RX meeting, and one of the attendees was very familiar with combo shops in that she'd heard a lot about them, but she hadn't actually taken the step, and this put her over the edge to where she went and followed through, started a combo shop, and she sent me an email a couple weeks ago about how well she's doing with it. It's affected her reimbursements on those prescriptions in a positive way to where she's making some good money. That's one example. We've also had people beef up their 340B program. We've had a 340B speaker on a couple of times, and that is a good, again, pocket of profit that pharmacy owners can use to increase their bottom line, as long as it's done right. Kelly, you've joined us as well. I should mention to talk about geofencing and marketing, that pharmacy-specific marketing that they can do that will help bring new patients in their door and get their message to the exact target person that they want it to get to.
Yeah, definitely. So thinking about like the speakers that you guys have, how do you typically decide who comes and presents at these things?
That's a great question. So our company, my brother Ben, who a lot of people listening to this have probably met, as well as the other people on our team, we spend a lot of time in the pharmacy world, in that we go to trade shows. We're always talking to people. We have lots of clients that are pharmacy owners that are sharing ideas with us, and that's where we draw from. We're looking for things. Again, it's all going to be profit-centered, but speakers and people that we can partner with or bring into the program. Partner with maybe is not the best term, but bring in as speakers that will talk about ways that we can increase our profitability primarily. So the one exception to that, recently at our last Prosper RX meeting, we had Congressman Buddy Carter speak. The congressman was very generous with us. He gave us about 30 minutes of his time in between votes on the floor, but he came in and talked about some of the things going on with pharmacy legislation at the federal level. That was really good. We got a lot of great positive feedback on that as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. So if somebody's looking to kind of get more information from you, or maybe sign up for the Prosper RX program, what would you say is the best way to get a hold of you?
So you can email me, which my email address, or call me, and phone number will be at the end of this presentation. You can also call my office and speak to Ben. Ben is my brother again, and he's very, very well versed on it. We have meetings monthly. So what you would be looking for is the next monthly available slot. So we can slide you in there. There's a couple other things about the program is we will not put anybody in a group that has a geographical competitor with them. So if, for example, you're from coastal North Carolina and the next available slot is in the February meeting, but there's also somebody from coastal North Carolina in that, then we would likely push you to the March one, just because we want everybody to feel comfortable sharing. That's the big thing on this is the speakers are part of it, and my job is to try to get some ideas that will help make our pharmacy owners that are there improve their bottom line. But also the collaboration is a huge factor of it. Mm-hmm. And learning from each other is important, and we don't want anybody in a situation where they're nervous about sharing something because of who they're on the line with.
Yeah, makes sense. Awesome. Well, yeah, that sounds great. Thank you so much for your time, Matt. And if anybody is looking for more information, you can contact Matt, and the contact information will be listed at the end of this show.
Thank you very much, Kelly. Appreciate your time and all you do.
Yep. Thank you. Have a great day.